Hey, this is a video for Shafe, Return of the Shafe Ohio Flash. Video request to provide some positive human interaction. And I think I can help with that. As given the nature of my condition, as surely as I have trouble with sarcasm, unless it's my own, and tone of when somebody is being negative or why they're upset or what would make them not be upset. An advantage to that is I can usually turn my responses on a dime. So say you were being an asshole to me, which you've never actually been. I mean, you've got your voice, like your the way you speak is, just kind of an in-town sort of voice, and that's a good thing. And I think also that you're a well thought out person. I don't think I worded that right, but a person who you've had reasons for the ideas and the concepts that you hold. So as a result, you really approach with quite a bit of confidence. And I think that's a very good thing. Nobody likes a wishy-washy, right? And you being a libertarian, I think that's a good thing. Not an easy political affiliation to have right now. I think both the Democrats and the Republicans are mad at us. The Democrats for reasons of us being too conservative, and the Republicans for reasons of us being too liberal. And it's a far cry from the Obama years. It seemed like during the Obama years, everybody wanted to claim the libertarians, and I think too, depending on it, like you seem to be a little more right-leaning where I'm left-leaning, but in conversation, because in my experience, a libertarian is a lot more likely to listen to a discussion or listen to where somebody is giving you their political view. I think in a lot of cases, a mistake people make in conversation is when the other person is listening and not interrupting them 10,000 times the way that normal people do, that they must be in agreement, or else they would have, stopped me. Maybe your mileage will vary. I wish, at the risk of getting negative, I wish I could argue that what you said, like every person that you've interacted with on the internet, you've had the asshole button pushed on you. I hate to say it, but I think you might be right. I don't think you ever crossed Corey, but I think it seems like for whatever reason you managed to rub their rhubarb. And I'm gonna guess that's a bad thing, because in the Batman movie, the Batman 1989, when the Joker shoots Bruce Wayne and he says, "Never rub another man's rhubarb," I'm guessing it's bad to rub a man's rhubarb. So. Or maybe it's just bad to rub the Joker's rhubarb, but he just said a man's rhubarb. Maybe you're only supposed to rub your own rhubarb. But where were we at? Positive human interaction. That's what we're doing. You ever notice when you're driving through town, if the town you're driving through is a kind of a route you normally take, and that route has a bar, have you ever noticed it's always the same cars at the bar day in and day out? I always imagine that just shows to the course of the habit of being an alcoholic. Like you go to the similar place to get your drinks, like your alcohol drink. When I was still drinking, my thing, I would always buy Budweiser Tall Boys in a 4-pack from Publix mainly. it wasn't like any old alcohol would do. Like, I literally had this weird process of picking up 2 or 3 4-packs of Tall Boys on Friday on the way home from work. It was a weird thing. And now that, I think, that's a negative human interaction, because it's bad for your liver at that point, right? I noticed you were sporting the Ohio State flash in your video, because you're going back to showing your face, similar to what Bonnet Mom did the face thing. I don't really give a shit about my face, but some of my friends that I have on here with the videos, as well as my daughter, I wouldn't want them to be doxxed or anything, and I think that's why I haven't shown my face on this particular channel. But you'll know what I look like, except for right now. I changed my look up a little bit, positively. I think I've actually got a style again. I got the beard is trimmed down to this goatee, and I went ahead and shaved my head down bald, like fully bald. So looking the way that I've never looked on the internet before. Which, man, if I make I'm way overdue making a video on the other channel, but when I do that, I don't know what I'll have to do. Maybe wear a disguise or something shit, I don't know. I'm interested in what you think I should do. Last video I put up over there was on, in regards to a gun channel, bringing down their content. I don't know if you mentioned yet, did you ever watch gun stuff? I know that when we were making knife videos, like Rachel made a knife video, and Backwoods made a knife video, and I made a knife video, you were like, you weren't interested in knives. But I have this, I think it is a M7 or an M8 bayonet. It might be an M8. I was gonna make that video being all snarky about, hey, I know you said you didn't like knives, but this is a bayonet, it's not a knife. But I wasn't really sure if you'd get the joke, or I didn't think the joke would land good enough that it'd be worth the effort of making a video just for it. Fun fact about the bayonet is I got it around the time of CMP registration, which stands for the Civilian Marksmanship Program. So when I got my M1 Garand rifle for shooting competitions, went ahead and got the bayonet too. But I've never cleaned the little storage oil Cosmoline. I never cleaned it off of there. I've left it on there. And in my imagination, you know, that rifle was reworked following the Korean War, is sort of the dates that it lands in. And similar to that bayonet. So heaven only knows what it was actually used for or been through. That's the fun thing about those rifles. I don't know necessarily if, say if you end up with a numbers matching M1 Garand versus one that's been completely refurbished, like a numbers matching one has a much greater story to tell than one that has a new stock and is an assembly of a bunch of other rifles. Typically, I would say during the Korean War, if what my neighbor says is true, the amount of positive human interaction during the Korean War was somewhat limited. So I guess it's a good thing then that I didn't make the bayonet video. And then, let's see. Got my Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction CD, and it, I'm trying to do continuous research to, I see what you see as far as like if you take a musician's view of Night Train. But a couple things happened to me in that CD. There's a documentary on YouTube, and if you have a ton of extra time, it's called The Women of Guns N' Roses. What it's about is when, I believe this is the right place, but when Guns N' Roses was when Guns N' Roses were struggling and they were on the Sunset Strip, like playing every night, they lived with these women who were essentially like patrons, and they would work either strippers, servers, bartenders, whatever, and they would take care of the members of the band so that they could fully concentrate on their music. And to go to my song, Rocket Queen, the moaning and stuff, one of the women in this documentary is actually the woman moaning in the Rocket Queen. Is that the bridge of the song? Or like the transition? It's worth watching. That whole hair metal movement was just really fascinating, because when I look back on the guitar playing of hair metal against the guitar playing of grunge, it appears like from a musician standpoint, guitar playing was very evolved for hair metal. You know, I'm going to only guess from the revolution that Eddie Van Halen started, like really going to the limits of what the hammering on, hammering off, just a bajillion notes. You know, guys like, would you count Yngwie Malmsteen as a hair metal? I kind of would, but that kind of, you know, like an arpeggio on steroids, if that's the right word for it. And then grunge just like taking this almost anti standpoint, you know, just being ambivalent to the artistry of music, to the point even of, I believe Kurt Cobain, whenever he had a solo in a song, he would refer to it as an anti-solo, which I know you're not a fan, but Kurt Cobain's solos, I could damn near play him. I don't think I could write a Kurt Cobain solo, but I could probably play one with a little bit of coaching. Especially when it's say the solo that's in Smells Like Teen Spirit, just as an example. It's seems to me just an echo of the verses, which is something, but not the lead break that you would expect to see. Well, sir, I hope you're doing good and not working too hard. Sounds like you're working a little too hard in a thankless business where all the stories I hear of, like, you don't just put your house on the market. It's like, it seems like these days a house goes on the market and bids aren't ever below asking price. So like, it's like a freaking silent auction anymore. And I can't imagine what it must be like to be an underwriter and having to partake in the matching money up against this bullshit silent auction of this overinflated market. Because I don't think the administration is letting is properly recognizing an inflation. But maybe mainly the auto worker strike will help with that. Maybe. All right. As positive as I get, Hobie, because positive isn't quite happy. But we're both on the right side of the ground, so they tell me if that's the case, we've still got time. Take care, buddy, and catch you later.